remember what happened last winter. It was 14 months ago when we had this blizzard hit us on Groundhog Day. As a result of that blizzard, 1,500 people were stranded on this road right out here. 36 people died. Shortly thereafter, several weeks after, the spring floods on the Mississippi River claimed 9 lives. It killed, took 9 lives and caused billions of dollars in damage as well. It's obvious something's happening here, and we're fools to ignore it. We need to step up to the reality, and the reality is this. The warming of our climate is changing our weather patterns, in many respects for the worse. We are seeing more extreme weather. I can remember the night when Loretta and I stayed here, got up the next morning, to find out that in 1 hour, during the course of the night, more rain had fallen than it had fallen in 100 years in Chicago. These things are not just coincidences as far as I'm concerned. There is something profound that is happening. It has an impact on our lives every single day. It certainly has an impact on the government. These disasters cost more and more money because we live in a more expensive world. They disrupt economies. They disrupt agriculture. They cause serious injuries and serious problems for people across America. There are things that we can do about it. I guess it's considered politically correct now not to talk about climate change. Well, I'm going to break that rule. We need to have an open and honest discussion about climate change and what we can do about it. President Obama is on the right track. Increasing the fuel efficiency of the cars and trucks we drive means the same amount of miles and less fuel burned, less pollution. The same thing's true when it comes to electric power generation. These are thoughtful things that we need to encourage and not fight. Almost every day on Capitol Hill there's an effort to undermine and undo these things. That is only going to make the climate worse and the challenges greater in years ahead. Now some skeptics will say, we expect to hear that from politicians. So I held a hearing in Washington, called as my expert witnesses no politicians. I called experts in the insurance industry, people who make a living trying to decide whether you can make a profit off the premiums collected for weather-related events. And they told me, Senator, open your eyes. We are moving our businesses away from parts of the United States. It's just too dangerous. We cannot really assess the risk of how we can make a profit when the weather patterns are so extreme and so unpredictable. That's the private sector talking. It's not a tree-hugging environmentalist. It's not Al Gore. It's a person from an insurance company. And I think it's advice that we ought to take to heart. Let me also say this. Doing what we need to do to clean up the air and to make this a safer place to live from the environmental viewpoint is also right from the public health viewpoint. Here's what I do. I visit classrooms all over Illinois, and I ask the students one question. How many of you know someone with asthma? Well, what I find here in the city of Chicago, 75%. Well, how about downstate? 50%. These diseases of lung related to the air that we breathe are part of the same conversation. We have a responsibility. This generation has a responsibility to make sure that this is a livable world for the next generation. We cannot avoid the issue. We cannot avoid the reality.